Hey guys, back again with another video for you. Happy New Year! Today, my guest is...
Hi everyone, I'm Juleen.
Okay, so she's Juleen Patrice, but we're going to call her Juleen on this pod. So if you hear me say Patrice by accident, just know what that means.
You're going to call me both. It's fine. It's fine.
So she's actually my cousin. Like, we actually grew up together. Our family is very close. So we grew up as cousins. So we call each other cousins. Yeah. So, wow. How old were we? Like, we were babies, kids.
Yeah,
like,
we were toddlers. Definitely toddlers, at least.
So our family was like best friends.
Yes. So our parents were like super, super close because they all immigrated here. And they kind of came up together, you know.
From where?
Jamaica.
From Jamaica. The family from Jamaica.
Oh
Big up Jamaica.
Definitely.
All right. Sorry. All right. Anyway, let me let you go. So yeah, they were pretty much so close. And then you know what happens when you're close and then y'all have kids. Y'all kids is close because y'all was always together. So now y'all kids always together. So boom.
Right.
There was one house in particular that we all usually met up at. And I'll tell you what that house is. Because, wait, before they even had that house, where and how, we were just kind of meeting at birthday parties.
No, we were meeting at Auntie Kay's house.
You see, Dimitri had to... He had to say... No, you got to talk to me more about Auntie Kay house. Go ahead, you talk.
It wasn't until after Auntie Kay passed that we started really hanging out at Uncle Jaga's house.
So you got to tell them who Auntie Kay is.
Yeah, so our Auntie Kay, she was like, so it's all these like separate little immediate families that all became like a bigger family. And Auntie Kay, they lived in, what town was that?
It's not Elmont? Or wait, no, Roosevelt, because it's still the same house, so it's Roosevelt.
And they had like a big pool in the backyard.
Huge pool. We would always be there, you're right.
We'd be like jumping in the pool, doing crazy stuff. And yeah, so she was kind of like the female like one that kept all the women together. Mm-hmm. And then so we had so many summers there.
Right.
All the time.
Summers were always lit as cousins because we knew we were going to see each other.
We knew what we were going to do. The food was amazing.
Always amazing. Hello, it was a Jamaican family.
The music was great. Everybody thought they were a DJ.
It's always a vibe. It's always a vibe. And let me tell y'all something. The number one thing about our family, let me tell you the number one thing, besides love and being Jamaican and being loyal and all those things that they taught us, baby, let me tell you something. Dressed to kill. Okay? Yeah. They had it. They had that.
Yeah. It was a fashion show. Every single time we got together was a fashion show because I don't even understand where they thought we were going. We were at the house and we were dressed up.
No, we really were.
Like we had somewhere else to go.
No, we were dressed up to go to the house, baby. It was like getting dressed up to sit at Thanksgiving, boo.
Yeah, it was a little insane, but we were always all in the best clothes, the best of designers.
The best. We had on our chains, our jewelry. They had the rings. Everything.
Yeah.
Whatever was the latest out, we had it. They had it. We never wanted for nothing.
We literally, at that point, I didn't even realize how much we had.
We didn't realize. I didn't realize.
Right. If you fast forward,
normal.
If you fast forward present day, like people would kill for what we had when we were kids.
To be honest, I had some people tell me about that. I remember this one guy. He said to me like, "Oh, like you were so like fly in high school. Like you always had the new Jordans. You always this. You always." And in my mind, I'm like, wow, for somebody to say that, I'm thinking these things are normal. You know what I mean? And then you're realizing like, wow, there was really like, not saying that you ain't know that there's less fortunate people, but you're just so used to it. In my mind, when people started to like post their Jordans in this, I'm like, we were wearing that when we couldn't even walk yet. We had these on forever.
The crazy thing is my mom never wanted me in Jordans.
My father didn't want me in them either.
Right. My mom was like, you got Moschino, Gucci, Christian Dior. What do you want Jordans for?
And how old were you, Juleen?
Single digits. Literally.
Why was it
I don't even understand. Like, I had to fight with my mom to get Jordans. And I got Jordans only to like fit in with the kids at school.
I had a question.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer.
Oh, God.
What did your mom do?
When I was younger?
As a job?
She was a stay-at-home wife. She didn't work. She didn't work until I was older.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
What did your father do?
My father actually owned a bunch of businesses, and he left my mom with a ton of money.
Oh, okay,
okay. Yeah, and then my stepfather, he was in like the legal system, and he had a ton of money. I remember when we bought the house that they have now, it was like cash.
Ooh.
I was like, whoa.
Okay, how old were you then?
I was 14 because the same day we moved into that house, my middle sister was born. Like she didn't even
Donna Marie or Davia?
No, Davia.
Davia, and then it was Donna Marie.
Yeah, so like she didn't even let us live in the house for one night without her. As soon as we moved in, that same night she was born, which was wild.
So how would you? I mean, we kind of just briefly described our childhood, but I want to get more personal before we get to where we are now and the transition and what has happened and the whole point of this interview. So let's get more detailed and personable about Juleen. How about you tell me your memory from your mouth? You know, I just want a firsthand account of what your childhood was like growing up.
Growing up, my childhood was, the best word I could use is dynamic. It was very much a juxtaposition of, you know, the Jamaican culture, but then like going to an American school and like trying to fit in because like the at-home culture was different than the school culture. You know, there are certain things like words that we use in the Caribbean that mean something different in the US and things like that. Like bell-bottom jeans. Do you remember? Like, I remember when we were younger, in the Jamaican household, it was called like bell foot.
Yeah,
and
I was just about to say it.
And I used to say bell foot, and people at school would be like, "What are you talking about?" And now it's not even bell bottoms anymore. Now it's flare.
Oh yeah, flare pants,
or whatever the hell it is. But like, you know, things like that used to happen. And but I always remember like going to school, being super dressed up. And then when I went to middle school, it was like a dress code. So we only could wear like certain colors. So it was basically like a uniform. So I didn't really have much in middle school. But then high school, I went to high school and it was like a free-for-all. I could wear whatever I wanted. I was at school in Dolce & Gabbana, Ferragamo, like...
Who's getting this for you? Are you requesting these stuff or are they just bought for you in your closet?
My mother would just buy these things for me. And then I would argue with her. I would argue with her being like, the kids at school don't know what this is.
Oh my God.
And like, you know, when you're wearing like the designer where it doesn't say the name per se, but like you can tell what you're wearing is high end.
Right.
And people used to be like, well, what are you wearing? And I'm like, oh, this is, you know, Christian Dior. This is like Ferragamo. And they'd be like, what's that?
In high school. You're talking about Ferragamo and Christian Dior in high school. What high school you went to?
Brooklyn Tech. I was a smart kid. And I was a nerd.
I mean, we were smart kids. I skipped fourth grade. We were very smart. You couldn't not be smart in this family, okay?
Right, yeah.
They had to brag about you.
You had to listen, you had to do your homework or else.
Yeah.
Or else.
No, we were smart kids. Nobody could say like, especially the Neath family. You can't say we're doing like.
Right,
so
exactly.
Wait, but so far, what you talking about your childhood, what I'm hearing is a lot about fashion, money. There's something deeper.
I don't know where
you don't recall like, you know, anything besides how you feel like really that's like the prominent memory. Well, is like how
I would also say like I had a very, very, very strict mother, almost like, you know, what you would call like a tiger mom. She was very much, I always had to be the top of my class. Like if I got like a 98 on a test, it would be like, where are the other 2 points? Like, where did you mess up
How did you deal with that?
It was tough. It was tough, like, you know, always trying to be, like, reach this level of perfection. And especially, like, coming from the mom that I did. I mean, my mom was a pageant queen. She has so many titles.
She's a pageant queen?
My mom was Miss Jamaica Teenager, Miss Jamaica.
Wait, slow it down. Your mom was Miss Jamaica?
Miss Jamaica teenager, Miss Jamaica. Yeah.
She was Miss Jamaica and Miss Jamaica teenager? Your mother?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
The year that I was the year that I was born, she was actually supposed to be in another pageant, but she had to like drop out because she was pregnant.
Well, you're gorgeous, so
oh, thank you.
Of course she gets, great genes from her mom. Wow, I never knew that. That's interesting. I'm glad I asked that question.
My mom was like the hot girl growing up.
Hot girl.
Like, I remember growing up and being like, I want to look exactly like my mom when I grow up. Like, she was like literally the hot mom. You know
who I'm going to tell you her mom remind me of? They probably told you before.
Who?
Don't get offended.
I don't know.
Bernice Burgos or something.
Oh, definitely.
Bernice?
Yeah, Bernice Burgos.
Think of Bernice Burgos. Mm-hmm. That's her mom.
Yeah. That was my
that's
mom.
Her mom, replica,
totally.
Yes,
totally.
Look good up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What you have to say?
Good. Like, literally, she would walk into, like, the club, and every guy would look at her. And, like, remember back in the day, like, the Jamaican clubs, they used to have, like, the videos?
Yes.
So you could see the tape of the party.
They used to come home with the video all the time of the party.
This is before Pasa Pasa.
If you're, anytime you're ready, just give me the cue, all right? Just give me the cue and you could pop in, Demetrius. Okay, just making sure. You could video, you could do what you need to do, whatever while you're there, you're free. Anyway, continue.
So, yeah, like, this is before the Pasa Pasa videos, but it's like they used to go to the club, and they used to dress to the nine, obviously. Mm-hmm. And my mom was one of those, like, stush girls who would go to the party and just stand there because apparently she was a mannequin, and she just had to be there to, like, show off the clothes. Just look good, show off the clothes, and have, like, one drink in her hand that she sipped on all night.
Your mom, she was living.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we get that. So pretty much your life was good.
It was.
You had
really,
a good life. You was
really
privileged.
Good.
You made good grades. Your mom might have been strict. How was your stepdad?
My stepdad was great. He was awesome from
Sounds like
day
a great
one.
life to me. So
he was awesome from day one. I mean, he was like the person that I needed to kind of like temper my mom a bit because she was so strict.
So it was a good balance.
Yeah, it was a good balance. He used to kind of like tell her to like ease up a bit, let me go out with my friends. Like,
that's so good.
He was really good with that stuff. Like, I can't complain anything about him. I was so blessed to have him.
Okay, so when you say ease up a bit and let her go out with her friends, where were you guys going?
You know, we would go to like the park, or we would have like random like game nights at somebody's house, or, you know, we weren't getting into like any bad stuff. Like the group of friends I was in, we were doing homework, you know, making sure we were doing well. The only thing we used to do was like a lot of people used to have birthday parties. Every birthday, there was a birthday party growing up. And that's when everybody used to like get into trouble because, you know, we used to dance. The girls and the boys used to dance together and all that stuff. And, yeah, like unlike the kids now, like everybody's on their phone in the party, but whatever. We used to actually like interact with each other and dance. So that used to be fun. But that was like the only like real trouble I used to get into. I mean, I used to do things like my mom would send me to like high school on like the Long Island Railroad, and I would like get off the train at Jamaica and get on the subway.
This was her being bad.
This is me being bad. I would get off the train at Jamaica and I would get on the subway, the J train, to be on the train with my friends.
How old were you?
To go to school. Like 14, 15. But I wanted to be on the train with my friends. So like we all got to school together. We would go to like the corner store together in the morning.
Okay.
You know, all that stuff before we walked into school.
Okay.
You know, that was like me being rebellious.
That was her rebellious.
Yeah, I was the one.
She was a good rebellious.
I was the one who followed the rules. Yeah.
Let's give her a hand clap for Perfect Patty.
Oh my God! Shut. Could you imagine?
No. Okay, Perfect Patty. Let's get.
It's not like it paid off.
Oh no, we're gonna get to the nitty gritty.
Oh my God. It's not like it.
Because y'all hear it, right? You see where it's going. Like, everything is peaches and rainbows.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Before we get to that next level, one more level. So pretty much what it sounds like to me, I mean, this is clearly outside of us constantly meeting up. Would you feel like you were, how can I call this? Were you popular?
I was definitely popular growing up. I was the girl who knew everybody, and everybody knew me, but they knew my name, right? There's a difference between like knowing everybody and people actually knowing who you are, like on the inside. People knew me, but they didn't know me.
So wait a minute. As a family, we knew you as
Patrice.
And in school and in life, everybody knows you as
Juleen, which is my first name.
So I'm thinking they didn't know Patrice.
No, they didn't know Patrice at all.
Got it.
Absolutely not.
So Juleen was popular.
Yeah, Juleen was super popular because for a number of reasons. Because I was nice, I was amiable, like I was outgoing.
Girl, don't be using your big words. Amiable.
Oh my God. We just talked about how I went to Brooklyn Tech, and now she's talking about me using big words.
I mean, I gotta make it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give the judge.
Right. But
so amiable. She was amiable.
But yes.
Look it up.
Those things, right? Outgoing and all that stuff. I was friends with the class clown, but I was also friends with like the weird kid in the corner that was like super smart.
Sweetheart.
Like, yeah, I was the person.
She giving Stacey Dash. Wait a minute. Never mind. No. You giving Stacey Dash look, but not Stacey.
Right, not her personality.
No offense.
But yeah, like I was friends with everyone.
Right.
And, you know, I think that helped me a lot in life because, you know, there were nights I didn't want to do homework, and knowing that quiet kid in the corner, they did the homework and they sent it to me.
All right, so then let's move on now. When did things take a turn? Why are we here now? What is it that you feel like we need to express? Because we've clearly heard what sounds like, you know, you see her smiling with the Colgate smile.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like,
stop it.
You know, there's ups and downs in life, and there's one side and another. You ready to pop in? Put your bag down. All right, so our cousin Demetrius has visited and supported, and we thank him because he's a big deal to us. So come in and say hi real quick. Thank you for your support.
Him.
He was Juleen's surprise. Say hi to the camera.
Oh, I love you.
What up, camera?
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you.
I'll come back for y'all.
Hold on, the camera didn't see you. Gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
I'll come back for y'all. My bad, I'm a little tall. I gotta get low. I love you guys.
Oh my God.
We love you.
So far.
All right.
Awesome. We love him so much.
We do. We love him, okay?
He's a gem, that kid.
Yes,
oh my God. Such a mess.
Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
We'll see
Listen,
you.
tell Darius, you know? Anyway.
Yes.
All right.
We really need a reunion with all of us.
We are. We're gonna do this again.
But what I was saying is it took a turn when I became an adult. Right? So as soon as you hit that threshold where you're 18, you know, my mom was like, okay, go forth and live your life without any kind of like guidance, really. And I think that was the turning point where it was like I was used to having guidance and used to having
when they just let us go and think we just supposed to be out there like that. And how you gonna bring us to America and then just throw us out? Like, you brought us you came from Jamaica, you came to a whole nother country, you put us in a whole nother school system around a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking about, especially me, I'm an only child. So we ain't talking, ain't no sisters and brothers and nobody there for me to, you know what I'm trying to say? Ain't nobody got my back or guiding me or Roxy this or, it's just me with me. I don't know about you. How about you? How did you deal with that?
I mean, I was the only child until I was 14. And even when my sister was born, when I was 14, it didn't really seem like a sister. It kind of seemed like a pseudo, like, niece or a child or something like that. Because
were you guys in the same household?
Yeah, we were, but like because
me and my sister weren't in the same household, and we're like 16 years apart.
Yeah,
so I can't even imagine how you're in the same household and it's not even feeling like a.
Well, she was a baby, right? So from 14 to 18, she was 0 to 4. You get me? So like she was like super young.
Did you like, all right, for me, I intentionally made sure that I could spend time with my sister. Like I waited and wanted a sister for so bad.
Yeah.
Like, for so long that it was just kind of like, I'm making sure that I see her grow, that she sees me, that we have fun together. Like, I kind of brought myself backwards doing that. But anyway, continue.
I think that I got to that point when I was 16, and I think that was only because one of my close friends in high school, her mom also had a baby around the same time. So our sisters were the same age, and we would like put them in the stroller and take them to the park. Like we thought we were grown or whatever. But not for nothing, like I feel bad saying this. My sister was kind of like an accessory at that point.
I get you.
You know what I mean? And then when I was 18, my other sister was born. So, you know, they're close in age, but I'm like, it's a big age gap between them and I. So I kind of, in a lot of ways, feel like a third parent. I feel like when they're older that, you know, they'll be able to have a better relationship with me and a closer relationship. But I think until they really enter adulthood, they won't, you know,
understand or be able to connect on certain things.
But like, so getting back to my mom kind of like leaving me out to pasture at 18, it was kind of like, you know, figure it out on your own. I was basically cut off, you know, financially. And I had to start from zero.
Okay, so wait. Even though you're cut off financially, when you graduated high school, did you get a job?
I was already working. I had been working since I was like...
Oh, so you're pretty much fine.
I had been working since I was like 12. You know, in New York, you get your working papers or whatever it is.
I was working at 17.
Yeah,
so trust me, I get it. I was working. I was working since young. And if I wasn't working on paper, I was hustling. I was doing hair. I was watching somebody's kids to this day. Anyway.
That's crazy.
To this day.
He said to this day.
To this day.
Yeah, no, like I always had like a summer job. And then I also used to do like volunteer work and things like that. But yeah, I was working. I think at the time I was like working at the mall. And, you know, so I had a job, but I was also in school.
Right,
so,
same.
Yeah.
I had to take 3 buses to get to school because I was going to QCC at the time. I didn't get to go to the University of Hartford as my mother and father took me to. It was too much money. And I ended up going to QCC as a second choice and doing a couple years there. And then going on to medical assistant school. And it was pretty much that from there. But you see, with you... Yeah, because what I'm trying to dive into is how it could turn from being like so, you know, wonderful, so like I said, peaches and rainbows, like you know what I'm saying, and then all of a sudden just get so dark.
Yeah, I think, you know, there was kind of I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I'm not a parent.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I also think about the fact that our parents, it was their first time parenting.
Clearly.
You know, so
we're the firstborns.
Yeah,
by
the
the way.
firstborns. So like you have to
I was the
give
firstborn
them,
grandchild on my father's side, so even worse.
So you got to give them grace in that sense. Like this is their first rodeo, you know, kind of thing. But I think because my parents immigrated, my mom was under some weird like what do you call it? Idea. She had this notion that when you turn 18 in America and you're an American citizen, like you're basically like taken care of. Like there are programs or like whatever to take care of you. And I was like, that's not how this works. Like I don't know who told you that.
She's just trying to figure it out.
I was like, I don't know who told you that. That's not how it works. Like she thought I was gonna go to school for free, like college for free, and I was like, that's not.
So
how
you were
this
just
works.
figuring out everything by yourself, pretty much.
Everything out on my own.
But there was a whole stepfather there. I didn't
Yeah.
grow up with a father in the household at all. So
Yeah.
how does that work?
I mean, he was there, but like, here's the thing. I think with being a step parent, you have to be mindful, right? This
Not to cross boundaries.
Right. This is your child, but it's not your child. Right. So I think he always kind of like toted the line a bit. He didn't want to overstep a lot because at the end of the day, the final word was my mom's because I was her child. He definitely had more of a say with my 2 younger sisters. Obviously, those are his
Clearly,
children.
they're younger.
Yeah, they're younger and they're his children. But with me, I think
Donna Marie and Davia was his kids?
Yeah.
I was today years old.
You didn't know that?
How I'm supposed to know? I wasn't in grown folks' business back then.
I guess that's true.
I wouldn't really know, and nobody's really talking to me about that. So
Yeah.
I really didn't know. Not to cut you, but pretty much Juleen, wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you cry? Like, how did you take
yeah.
that? Were you tough? Like, did you go through bad friendships? Like, how did you make it?
I think, a lot of, I was very good at compartmentalizing. So when I would go to work, I would go to school, you would get like the bright, shiny version of me,
Hi.
the smiley version.
Right.
And then when I was alone at home by myself, it would be very dark. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I would have to like think about the support that I didn't have. And I think that growing up the way that we did, and again, coming from another culture, our parents kind of expected us to have like tough skin because they had tough skin.
Yeah, they automatically just assumed like we treat them like this, they're gonna act like that. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? But two things. Did you go to church?
Yeah.
You grew up in church?
I grew up in church. I was part of stewardship. Like, yeah, I am very Catholic.
Wow.
I'm very, very Catholic, yeah.
We're proud.
Yes.
We're proud. So you love God?
Yes.
We love God over here.
We love Jesus.
Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior.
High five. Lord and Savior, baby. That's right. Okay.
We are covered.
So what? Covered in the blood.
Amen.
So what do you believe as far as like, I've learned that that's kind of like fire tested, growing pains, trials and tribulations. I mean, do you feel the same? Do you feel bitter? Do you feel resentment? Do you feel anger? Do you feel pain? Do you feel misunderstood? What are the things that you feel like came with that your mom or your stepfather or maybe your family didn't even realize or know? What is there that nobody really knows because all they see is the polished, put together Juleen, the smiley one, the one that looks good, the one whose hair is done, the one who's like, you come polished and ready. So what's behind that?
I think they don't see how much I kind of had to figure out on my own. And all the words that you just said, I feel all of those things combined into one. But it wasn't until, I started going to therapy that I really kind of confronted those things because, especially growing up in our culture, I don't think anybody believes in therapy. My mom thinks that the only people who go to therapy are people who are like legitimately like mentally insane. So she doesn't really understand the purpose of talk therapy and things like that. But therapy has helped me a lot. It helped me really get to the core of the issue, confront myself, know what my triggers are.
Wow.
And, have the awareness to then do something different.
When did you realize that you wanted to go to therapy, and what were the steps that you took?
I was in my mid-20s, and this is when I was previously engaged.
Yes, I remember that relationship.
And I was in a very long-term relationship, and it was actually a combination of myself and him where we noticed that anytime I was around my mother or my family, I would get triggered. And it would become like a different version of me, but not like a good version. Like he would, tell me they know how to press your buttons in a way that kind of brings you out of character, right? And it's not who you want to be. And then at that point, obviously, I didn't want it to impact my relationship with him. So I'm very solution oriented. So I had to figure out a way like, well, what do I do at this point? And I decided to go to therapy. So that was my first entrance into therapy, was talking about myself, my family, that connection, the different parts of my family, because there's so many different branches of it. And like culturally it's different, right? Like my maternal grandmother is Jamaican from like, Afro-Jamaican. And my maternal grandfather is Indian, right? Like what people would reference as coolie. We don't use that word anymore.
Wait, why you say we don't use that word anymore?
It's a derogatory term. We don't use that word anymore.
Who said that? They don't say like, look a coolie boy no more? They don't say that stuff?
We don't.
You can't call them coolie?
No.
I lie.
I'm dead serious.
What, since when?
Like at least 15 years ago.
Continue.
I swear to God. But yeah, we don't call it that anymore.
Really?
So
Okay.
So
So you say a little Indian boy, a little pretty hair boy?
I don't know. I just call everybody Caribbean at this point.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so you had like that side of family that, you know, was very much deep in their Indian culture. They've never left it, you know, saris, the bindis, the whole nine. So you had that culture. And then my dad, his mother's actually Panamanian. They spoke Spanish. I have aunts and cousins who, you know, spoke that growing up. So it was like all these different sides of family. And I always felt like I never fit into any one of them.
I get it.
Right? Like I was too coolie for the Afro Jamaicans. I was too Afro for the Indian Jamaicans.
Wow.
And then I didn't even speak a lot of Spanish for the Spanish people. So, you know, it's kind of just,
where do I fit? I don't fit in. I don't fit in.
I don't fit in anywhere. And then I'm going to school in America, right? With this different culture.
You ever went to school in Jamaica?
No.
You ever lived there?
No.
Never. Oh, wow.
My parents would send me to Jamaica
just for the summertime,
for the summer or for the winter by myself. I was an unaccompanied minor. I don't even think that's a thing anymore.
No, we used to be by ourselves when we were younger. We used to go with the air hostess down.
With the air hostesses.
Listen. Yeah, they just used to send us. We've been independent for a very long time. I used to go to school by myself in the mornings when I was 7 years old. I was taking public transportation at 7 years old.
I actually had
by myself.
I actually had a driver until I was 14.
I had a driver in Jamaica.
Yeah, I had a
helper in Jamaica.
Yeah.
A maid.
A maid, yeah.
Like we were spoiled as hell when we were little.
Spoiled. I had a driver until I went to high school, which is crazy. I wonder where that guy is now.
As hell.
I wonder where he is
now.
He was so nice.
This is why. Where are we now? The reason why we are how we are now is because we have a history of knowing some type of luxury and privilege.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we went into being off into the world by ourselves, knowing that we come from some type of luxury and you know, but at the same time, humble enough to be able to be like, we can have that or we can get that, but do we want it? Maybe not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you see how you said you were popular? Yeah. I know already before speaking. Like, we Miss Thing here has connections that she don't even want me to talk about. So we're not going to bring them up, but she definitely do, okay? I'm not going to bring them up, but it's just those certain simple things that show you how humble somebody is. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like...
Right. Because, you know, my connections don't...
I'm just using that word.
Yeah, I know. But my connections don't...
define you.
They don't define me. They're just connections, right? Yeah. And my proximity to those people have nothing to do with me you. Or who I am.
Right.
So I think...
What do you feel like represents you?
You know, that's a great question.
Good.
I think that even at my age now, I don't know if I can necessarily answer that question.
Slow down. At your age now, you cannot answer that question.
What represents me? Like what?
You know what
like
doesn't.
You know, like what do you mean? Like what culture or what?
No. Oh. What represents you as a person, period.
As a person, period.
Wow, you really have to think. It's okay.
No, I'm trying to understand like what answer you're looking for. So
I'm not looking for one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's like I'm trustworthy. I'm dependable. I'm a genuine person and I care for people. And I think that, you know, one of my best qualities, but also, you know, one of my flaws is that I will put people before myself.
You want to know what I have to say? I think you are amazing. I think you're very intelligent.
Thank you.
I think you're very caring. I think you're very soft-spoken. I think you're wise beyond your years. I think you're strong, brave, resilient, and I think you're beautiful inside and out. You're a God-fearing person. You're a strong person, and you could do anything that you put your mind to. I really and truly believe that.
Thank you.
You come, you represent yourself, you show up, you support. You're very loving and kind. You're funny. You know,
I try to be funny. Listen,
she's a good person to be around. You have a good head on your shoulders. There's more. Look, I'm not even done. You have a good head on your shoulders. Look, girl, you're it. You're it, girl, boo boo. But we're gonna wrap it up soon. So I really want you to get into what message do you want to get out? What message do you want to put out there?
I think I think the message that I would like to put out there for people, because I'm sure there are people who come from similar backgrounds as we did, a different culture, coming into, American culture and being like the first generation American, there has been kind of like a time frame where you had to like adjust, and an adjustment period, and how did we fit into that, because our culture wasn't the American culture,
Right.
So we had to define for ourselves what it meant to be us.
Right.
Right. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay that we have a mashup of both our, other cultures and our American culture, because now we can combine all of it. And I think that's in itself is a privilege and a blessing.
Right.
Right.
No, I believe
because,
so.
I can pull from all of these different aspects where there are some people who only have one aspect to pull from. You know what I mean? So I do see the privilege in that. And, I just think that as you go into adulthood, don't really try to stress yourself out on your plan. I was a planner. I thought at this age I would have this, and this checked off the list.
So true.
And, life doesn't happen that way.
We're not in control. God is in control.
God is in control. And, all I can do is have faith in God and pray that I am on the right path and the right journey, and he will lead me to where I should be.
So we didn't get in any trouble. You see that? We didn't get in any trouble. You ain't say nothing crazy. Don't you like that? You didn't say anything. Did you?
I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't. So if there was a message you want to send to your younger sisters if they watch this one day, or like I said, if your mother watches this, if any of our family members watch this,
they probably will.
I just want you to send that quick message before we wrap it up and let them go.
I would say thank you. I love all of you. Everything that you have done, everything that we have shared has contributed to who I am today. And I only wish the best for our family, our extended family, that we flourish and have abundance and prayer and covering for all of us.
Last question. You single?
I am single.
Are you single and looking? Or are you single and waiting? You trying to get married? What you trying to do? I'm trying to help y'all out just in case y'all...
I'm definitely trying to get married. I am
no kids? Any kids?
No kids.
No kids yet. She like me. No kids.
Right. No kids, never married. I am single. I don't know if I would say looking. I would say I am waiting for alignment. I'm hopeful, but I'm waiting for alignment.
Okay, and waiting for alignment with who God is?
No, I think that at a certain point, whoever I'm supposed to be on the same wavelength with,
you don't think that's God?
We will cross paths. I mean, God is going to guide me. He's also probably guiding that person.
Oh, you just mean like you're the co-creator. You don't feel like it's... So you don't believe that God just has somebody waiting for you. You think it's our choice. I'm just curious.
He gives us free will.
So you think it's... I'm just curious. Yeah. So you don't believe that there's like some type of soulmate that is out in the world waiting for you. You just feel like
I don't believe that there's one. I think that there are a handful of, and depending on like which path you go on in your life, right? Like say I didn't choose to go to the college I went to a college out of state.
Then you would have never met him.
Right, exactly. So I don't think that it's necessarily one single person. I think that there are a few.
Okay.
And there are different journeys your life could go on, right?
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Well,
she said it. I try to get it in for y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you come back for a part 2, because I know this seemed pretty,
Yes. I think there are other topics I would love to delve into, just in general, but not necessarily around me, around
really
society.
Okay, so then I think a part 2. Yeah. You'll be up for a part 2?
I'll be up for a part 2 if you guys want to see me.
Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much.
Bye.